Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Ben here.
Along with Jenna.
And we are excited to bring you another night of whiskey previews. Today, whatever day or night it is that you're tuning in on, we're going to be previewing how many whiskeys? We were actually just backstage just debating them our whiskeys, and we've decided we were going to be tasting 6 whiskeys tonight. All of these whiskeys are dropping tomorrow for our, February Outturn.
Yeah.
If you guys are new to the channel or new to the Scotch Malt Whisky Society, the Outturn is the bi-weekly selection of whiskeys chosen by the Scotch Malt Whisky Society for release exclusively to members of our club. And used to be, it's funny, I was about to say monthly, but really we call it a monthly Outturn, but actually there's 2 a month. First and third Tuesday of every month, we have a new selection. And on the eve of both of those, we're here live on YouTube, undertaking the horrible job. I mean, it's really, I don't get enough sympathy for this of tasting the whiskeys. And yeah, and as I mentioned, Jen and I were just looking at these whiskeys here, and we said, can we squeeze 5 in tonight, or should we squeeze in 6? And we decided we'll be tasting through 6 of them.
It was a tough decision to make.
Well, dry January's over. I mean, here we are. I mean, it's February. We're rolling right now. We're excited. And so glad you can be with us tonight. How's everyone doing? Quick little I was actually looking through some of the comments as we were debating this whiskey selection. Good to see you. Let's see. First one in the chat is Mamuka 1977 says, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are having a wonderful evening. Cheers. Good evening, Mamuka 1977."
Cheers to you.
Adam Clary says, "Hey, all, nice thumbnail, SMWSA team. Would catch my eye if I was scrolling through my video feed." Yes, Jen and I, that is our most professional, I think, photo collage to date. We are really kind of upping up the channel here at SMWSA. And yeah, so anyway, we'll be kind of tuning in with all the comments here as we go along. But as I mentioned, we've just decided that we are going to do 6 whiskeys, which is a big list for us for these Outturns, as you guys know. So anyway, Jenna, what's new on your end? You did one of these tastings last night. Was it yesterday or last night?
Yesterday. I left yesterday morning and flew back last night. I was down in Orlando and hosted a tasting there, and it was awesome. And we had so much fun. And so I've tasted a couple of these, but not all of them. We're doing a little different selection than the in-person tastings, just to kind of switch things up a little bit. But really, really good feedback. So I'm excited to taste through them again.
Yeah, right. Tonight, well, I guess, Jenna, you kicked it off yesterday, but tonight we are, maybe 5 different cities right now. The society, our team is hosting in-person tasting events throughout the country. And yeah, we noticed like a couple weeks ago or maybe last month when we were doing this stream, we noticed that there were some people in the chat who had already or was tasting the whiskeys in that moment in person, which is really, really cool. Except for they were kind of unveiling all of our secrets. So we just decided, you know what? I think there's like you said, I think there's maybe 2 or 3 that members are tasting at these events right now.
There are 3, yes.
Okay, yeah, but frankly, Jen and I just chose 6 whiskeys that we thought were really interesting and worth sharing, and that's kind of it. There just happens to be some overlap. Anyway. So, quick note, I think before we get started, I've been doing all this talking, and I'm, like I said, dry January is over, and not that I participated, but nonetheless, it's an excuse to dram right now. Quick update, you guys, everybody, if you've noticed, if you check out the channel, you'll see the upcoming live streams. We're doing some new things here at the channel. Mainly, we're just going to be doing more. I think that's what we've been hearing from you is like you want more, and Jen and I and Scott, we've been doing these, Outturn preview tastings. It's been really fun previewing new whiskeys that before they come out. But we've heard from members that they want more conversation, more ways to get involved, and so really, we'll talk more about this in the end. But you'll kind of see that there's a couple different streams we'll be doing now on a monthly basis for everybody, which will be a lot of fun. And one of them will actually be, of all these whiskeys we're tasting tonight, we're going to choose one of these whiskeys to then taste together for everybody else who picks up a bottle at the end of the month. So we'll be talking about that, but just know that as we're going through the selection, we kind of have a decision to make of which is the whiskey that we're going to choose for the month. So that'll be funny. Anyway, Jenna, you've already had something in your glass. Okay, what are we starting with? Why don't you, how about this?
I did my baby before.
I've been doing all this talking. Why don't you kick it off? Take us through the whiskeys.
Let's do it.
You got an order down. I trust you.
Yeah. I thought we would would start with something kind of wet our palate, just kind of get things going. And I actually haven't had anything from this distillery in quite some time. So I think it's a kind of a great place to start. So we are going to start with Cask 26.194 Bish Bash Bosh. And this is a 10-year Highland at 59.1% and our sweet, fruity, and mellow flavor profile. It was in first fill ex-bourbon for its full maturation. And I just thought this would be a good, way to ease into the evening.
I'm going to do a little, what is it, AMSR? Is it AMSR? Or I always screw up the acronym, the ASMR. AMSR. Someone in chat, is it AMSR or ASMR? The thing where I'm going to make
ASMR.
ASMR? I don't even know what it stands for. Anyway, that acronym that like is really like a cool way of like expressing noise. I'm going to do that right now with this microphone and this bottle.
I don't even know how to do it. It's like
this
sounds.
Okay.
Textbook.
I don't even know if that was picked up at all.
I heard it. It was like a classic textbook cork pop.
The ritual of opening a bottle is something that I feel like, Jenna, we've gotten totally spoiled with being in this side of the industry because we get to open a lot of bottles. But before this, never, there was no lack of speciality in the process of opening a bottle. I don't know if that even makes sense, but it's always a treat. Okay, now that I've opened my bottle, you can continue.
Well, I'll read the tasting notes from the bottle after we've tasted it. I don't want to read those to, sway me in any way.
Ooh, this is like really fruity.
Yeah, it's very fruity. But it's like there's like a bubble gum, like a bazooka bubble gum note on this that I'm getting. And I used to usually find those in like Young and Sprightly's. I went through a long moment of really being into that flavor profile because of that like bubblegum kind of note. And yeah, I'm getting a little bit of that on this. All right.
My first sip of water the last 4 hours, it seems like. Really, really bright, really fruity. The bubblegum is spot on.
Yeah, it smells like powder that, it's like kind of powdery when you open it. Maybe it's not bazooka. Like the square ones have like the comic wrapped around it, a little rectangular gum. That's
the ones that are just like pure chemical and sugar.
Right.
Oh, it's not like my mother. Oh God, yeah. I know what you're talking about. What have I become? I just sound like that was like her voice, not the ones that have chemicals and sugar.
Like my mother.
The artificial. No, not you. I just call myself. No, I totally get you. It's for us. It's probably a nostalgia thing. Like we love that gum. Yeah,
it's like that pink bubble gum, like powdery pink bubble gum.
Yeah. Jen and I grew up together, not really together, but we are like a few days apart in age, and so therefore, like, we are of the same era.
Yes, we are of the same era.
Whatever that era really is, but
now it's like, I gotta I might have to do the coffee bean thing. There's like with this distillery, you almost expect that very waxy kind of, body to it. And there is like a creamy, like, note on the nose that I'm getting to.
It's like a classical representation of the spirit from this distillery. 10 years young, it's kind of a younger age for a lot of the makes that we'll see, or a lot of from this make, a lot of expressions, but so I think it's really nice. The bubblegum has kind of subsided a little bit. Maybe it's not as, we can debate. Maybe we'll debate on our stream later this month about the validity of neck pours. But the first pour out of the bottle for me, at least the first pour on a Monday, it's always the most fun. Anyway, cheers.
Yep, cheers. Holy cow.
Yeah. Explosive.
Like, it's like eating like the world's like biggest gusher that you can like shove into your mouth. And it's just like, it was just like, wow.
Yeah, the fruitiness, the like the ripened berries, it's juicy,
Oh,
all of that. It's all there. This whiskey has a type, and it's not like for me, one of those things where like, oh, I'm nosing it, and I'm tasting it, and like a different experience. It's consistently fruity. It's big. It's bold. It's friendly though. It's not 58. What is it? 59.1%.
50,
59.1.
51, yeah.
I mean, almost 60% ABV. Like it's crazy. So it's high. Definitely feel that. I'm certainly gonna be adding some water, but I think it's just it's a wild one.
That is, I mean, it's bright. There is like a little, it's not like salinity. There's just like a little, like, I don't know, ocean spray like note in this. I don't know if it's like bubble gum, like you're eating Bazooka
Mm,
Joe like on
mm.
the coast somewhere. And then there's like a fresh like field of like flowers and like lavender behind you or something. It's really bright. It's really alive. And there's a lot of depth to this. 10 years old, first fill, it's kind of classic, but there's a lot to dig through here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let me
Warren
taste
Buff
again.
says, "Oh, interesting. This one wasn't at the preview tasting in DC." Yes, Warren, we were just talking a few minutes ago. There's a couple that I think have been tasted for everybody who's just tuning in too.
3.
We have 6 whiskeys tonight. 3 of them, as Jenna said, have actually been poured at our preview events all around the country. But we actually have 3 others that are not. Jen and I just happened to pick 3 that we thought, or excuse me, we picked 6 that we thought would be fun to share based on the descriptions on paper, having never tasted them. And so happens to be that 3 of them are actually at the events. But anyway, any final thoughts on this one? I mean, I know we got a long one tonight.
If you were a fan of this distillery and you like big, bold, bright, explosive kind of whiskeys, this is an easy yes in my book.
Yeah, I'm gonna add some water first because I think this will change my opinion.
I'm not gonna pour more and add water. I do like such a tiny pour that I taste it twice neat, and then
it's just the aroma alone. This one has really benefited from. I just put a dash of water in, and you can that bubblegum note. Not that it was offensive, but just like the boldness has really subsided, and now it's much more like earthy and rustic.
Yes. Yeah. Like you literally took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah. Well, I think we're tasting the same whiskey.
Our fraction kind of similar.
Yeah. Now it's like much more refined. So I was about to just like move on to the next one, but now I'm actually pretty stoked.
Okay. All right.
I now realize just how intense the alcohol was.
Yep.
That was like an explosion of white peppercorn. It almost feels like that. It's funny enough because you added water, it sort of thins out the spirit, but I almost get the sense that the texture is improved with a little bit of water. Like it is more lush, which is, not as floral.
No, not. I think it definitely and I had just a very little amount and I put 2 just very small drops of water. And I agree with you, like way earthier. Like they mowed all the flowers down and now you're just getting like the dirt and the earth.
Yeah.
I really like the palate without water, but I really liked the nose, that earthiness with a little bit of water. So.
Yeah.
Nice whiskey.
Yeah, for me, improved with water. Now it's a bit more characteristic of the distilleries make, I think. Ooh. The depth, the waxiness, I don't know. That's there. Okay, so that's the first one. We got 6 tonight. If you're just joining us, we got 6 whiskeys. All these are dropping tomorrow. And
can I read the tasting notes real quick?
Yeah.
I read the tasting notes real quick. All right, so this says a textbook modern example of this make.
You would think.
Fruity, easy, and delicious. Okay.
Wow.
We wrote the tasting notes. Tiny coastal touches, pollen, subtle flowers, and subtle herbs. Yeah. Literally, like, we nailed it.
It's funny. I really try not to read any tasting notes before I open a bottle.
I don't either.
Just because like for us, Jen and I, like we are here trying to taste and share our opinions. If otherwise we would just like put the bottles on the website like we used to for, you know, a couple decades. But yeah, it's funny. Some of these are spot on. And the reason I just don't do it because I like to really go into these without knowing anything or as little as possible.
Right.
Like where we're going from here, because I don't know. So you tell me.
I don't know. I was gonna say you tell me, Ben. You pick what's next. What do you think?
I really want to go with this 105.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. So the next one up, I'll do your job, is 105.40. As you can see, scrolling down below, the sweet kiss of complexity. Here's a picture of the bottle or a close up. I don't know how this camera adjusts, but love the name. Love the name. Sweet kiss. I mean, February, Valentine's Day. Come on, there's some romantics out there. Some you guys got to get it on this. No, but seriously, 66.2%. And I wasn't going to pick this one next because it's so strong. But look at that ABV, 66.2%, 8 years old. And the reason, I'll just tell you guys, like, if for anybody on the shop, if you're a member, if you're browsing and trying to figure out what to order, everybody looks for different things. So like what sticks out to them. To me, what sticks out is the fact that it's young, 8 years old, and so strong. And it's has this blue color code, this sort of bright blue, which is what we call the juicy oak and vanilla flavor profile. So it's one of 12 different flavor profiles we assign our whiskeys to. Usually when a whiskey is this strong and this young, it's like not in this profile, because a lot of the whiskeys in this profile, I know I'm totally nerding out here, but tend to be a lot very sort of cask forward and flavorful. You usually don't get that. Anyway, it's an anomaly on paper. So I'm intrigued. The flavor profile suggests where you get a lot of flavor from the cask, but it's only been aged for 8 years. Oh, except for just knocked
it
over.
Was 5 years in ex-bourbon hogshead, and then 3 in a second fill heavy toast medium char hogshead.
There you go. So that's an interesting factor. So it has spent time in 2 casks. Had it maybe just spent all 8 years in that ex-bourbon hogshead, maybe it wouldn't have this sort of flavor profile. It'd be something else. But anyway, intrigued by this one.
Hold on, I think I made an error. It is 8 years. Yes, thank you for calling that out.
Straight off the bat, I know it's dark and I have this like icy blue thing going on here, but pretty dark in color. Another example of what I would define as Jurassic Park mosquito trapped in tree sap, like pretty much to a T, pretty much like a medium amber, and much darker in appearance than I would expect from a whiskey. But again, as we've just unveiled, this has been double matured. 2 years of this. You said the last 3 years of the 8 were in this second fill, heavily toast, medium charged. HDMC, heavily toast, medium charred hogshead. 66.2%, and happy Monday.
I mean, just the nose on this.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Right?
Yeah, this is really good. Yeah. Okay. I'm like, sit back and cross my legs and just.
Right?
This is really good.
It was such a surprise. That's all I'll say until after you've tasted it, because I have tasted this one. I just want to like get my whole head in the glass.
Yeah, getting sort of a very, very different profile from the first one. The first one we said was fruity. It was a little bit tart, not tart, but like heavily laden with the ripened berries. This is more creme brulee. Toasted caramel. Is that what creme brulee is, by the way? No, what is creme brulee? Anyway, it smells like
sugar. You just like fire.
Sugar. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
It's fire sugar, which I guess is a caramel. I mean, caramel is just like you just cook down like brown sugar.
Okay.
We got caramel. So
I thought I just for a moment there said the same tasting note in 2 different ways, which would be like textbook whiskey blogger thing to do.
If you were to nose this, like completely blind, not knowing what this is, would you think this was 8 years old?
Well, I nosed once and then talked for like 7 minutes. So let me go back and nose again. That's a loaded question, of course, but I'll tell you what I wouldn't think this is: an 8-year-old at 66%. Right. This is like dangerously inviting, and there is some depth to it. So no, I don't absolutely don't. Just based on the first impression.
Yeah, it's like warm and like round, and inviting is a great word for that. It's,
Oh,
I mean, it is like caramel, creme brulee, like spot on. And there's like this, there is like a fresh, like raspberry kind of note to it, like a fresh berry note. But yeah,
this is
def-
spectacular. I mean, just off the nose alone at full strength. Okay. You had tasted this one yesterday. You were saying, right? Like,
yeah.
this is, so you know a little bit more. You're revisiting my first impression
again.
Yeah. All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay. Well, I know this is like dangerously strong. I know, like consuming like this is probably not advised. For the first 4 seconds, look at your face. You're totally reacting like you were all chill, like me too. For the first few seconds, I was like, oh, this is like it's a piece of cake. And then it really creeps in. It's a strong whiskey, but you can tell it's just ready to be opened up.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I haven't had this with water.
Oh.
I only tasted it neat. So I haven't gotten to explore it with a little bit of water, which I'm going to do for sure. But I think, so it's funny, this particular distillery, I always get I remember the first one that I ever, tasted with the society. I think we were doing like it was like us as a team, and we had like samples that we were trying to decide what cask, and one of them was a 105, and I was like, this is my first time ever tasting, and this was a couple years ago. And I got this like big, there's like an ointment, like viscosity I get, and I've gotten it from every single 105 I've had. And I love that about this particular distillery. So if you like Distillery 26 for that like waxy kind of profile, I think that you get more of like a thicker, like, I don't know, it's like that feeling in your mouth after you've like eaten yogurt or something. I don't know. There's like this just really just viscous note to this whiskey that I think is just really fantastic. So if you like viscosity in your whiskey, check this out.
Well, I've gone straight with water. I mean, I've had it right away because it was enjoyable whiskey. It was fun, but I could just tell it for me, like there's so much more going on. I mean, I'm so intrigued by the aroma. So I've just added a dash, and I can tell and you got a dropper. This is so typical us. You got a dropper. It's 66%. You're adding like a couple drops.
Yeah.
And I'm like pouring a 12-ounce water bottle. And no, I'm come on. I'm not that weak here, but I could just tell I'm probably to add more.
Yeah, I'm gonna
give it a go.
Actually, I have a decent amount of whiskey in the glass. I mean, it's almost the nose on this.
I can tell. It's so funny because the alcohol is present, but in such a different way. It's in total afterburn.
Yeah.
Like it like I feel it in my esophagus more so than on the palate. It's like it
just like skates over your palate and then like, I don't know, explodes with fire.
But you're getting the same thing? Like it's so weird because 66%.
My palate is not hot.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I've diluted now, so it's probably 55% just in my glass. And so it's still mostly alcohol. The majority is alcohol, but like in the palate, it's in disguise. It like goes in, you just taste the flavors. Anyway, woody, has like a nice autumnal spice to it. You said you call it warming, or you said it was warm. Like it's a warming whiskey, but not like the when you think of like a warm Scotch whiskey, what do you think of typically? Maybe a sherry cask or something.
Yeah,
like maybe. It's not that, it's a total it's almost sorry.
No, go ahead. It's
no,
just rambling here. Like it's when you're talking about it being like warming, I get like notes of like sandalwood and like like vetiver and like those kind of just like really unique kind of aromas I'm finding on the palate. And I can't think of a whiskey I've had in recent memory that is like this. that like kind of carries this like stack of flavor.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, like, I mean, maybe you would agree that, you know, every month we do this series called Hidden Gems where we will go through the whole shop and pick out whiskeys that, you know, on paper might not catch your attention because they're not from like these super well-known distilleries or the names, whatever it is. If this is still in the shop come the end of this month, like, this is spectacular. 8-year-old, 66%, 66.2, excuse me. Like I just this is money. And I'm gonna add a little bit more water just to see. I haven't. Okay. What I was gonna say is I haven't wanted to spend this much time with an 8-year-old. I was about to say that, but then I retracted, and I just said it anyway. But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
truthfully, there's a lot. Yeah.
I'm even looking like I have to go back and look through some 8-year-old whiskeys. This one just has kind of really captivated me. And this was a fan favorite last night in Orlando.
Oh, it was.
This was, yes. You know, typically, if you've ever attended one of our in-person Outturn preview tastings, we do those blind, where nobody knows what it is they're going to taste until after we've tasted it, and then we kind of talk through it, and so you can guess the age, like where it comes from, cask type, all of those things, and people thought that this was older, and then like when I revealed, I was like, well, this whiskey is 8 years old, and like everybody's like, what? Like that's crazy. And it was one of the favorites. So
it's like toasted brioche buns. Like it's become very buttery with more water, a little bit of like hazelnut. It's very woody. It's kind of
very woody.
It's funny. Wow, I'm really, really impressed by this one.
Yeah,
I don't think I've used the word impressed to describe a whiskey in a long time. Like I am impressed, and I'm impressed. $110 for us, it's kind of like below average in terms of price. I really like that. I like that a lot. So, shall we roll? I'm gonna save this glass and come back to that one because I have a feeling that's gonna have a role to play. Okay, so number 3.
Number 3. Sorry, Scott was calling me.
Oh. If everyone is wondering where Scott is tonight, he is actually in LA hosting an in-person event. He's gotten away from the screen to actually go talk to people in the flesh.
Yes.
Which is something that I guess you're more familiar with. I'll be doing next month, actually, in New York.
Fun.
But yeah, I think we'll have to make some plans for the stream. But let's go to number 3. So number 3 of 6. We got 6 whiskeys tonight, 35 minutes in. Actually, we started a little late. So we're like 30 minutes in.
Okay. Oh gosh, where do we go next? Should we stay in the same flavor profile? Should we go out of it?
Yeah, I think so. I think we have the. Well, listen, Jenna, you're driving. You pick one. And
All
quick comment, Eric. I was thinking about this too. Eric Waite's whiskey study says 110, and you're essentially getting 1.5 bottles in a bottle. That is true because you're talking about the ABV of that last one was 66.2%. So when you think about it, I added a lot of water. I mean, it was good, you know, with a dash, maybe 55%, but like I think that like 50 to high 40s was for me the sweet spot on this whiskey. It's all subjective. You're right. So the bottles will last a lot longer if you're diluting, and this one could last a long time. Although for me, I don't think it will.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna stay in the same flavor profile. We're gonna kind of dabble in that same cask type. So this is a 16-year grain whiskey. So this is Cask G10.38. It's called Inception, and this is a 16-year lowland, and it was in ex-bourbon barrel, and then in second fill, heavy toast, medium char hogshead. High ABV on this one, 61%, 16 years old, and energy open vanilla flavor profile.
So single grain, not something we see often. Usually we have all single malt whiskeys on the table. I guess I'm sure some of you know, some of you might not. What is the difference between a single grain? A single grain is essentially a whiskey, obviously also from Scotland, but made from usually a variety of different grains. as opposed to single malt, which is made from 100% malted barley. And this one, I think, like most others, are the distillation process is a little different. They use a column still as opposed to a pot still. Usually ABV is higher off of stills out of the cask, but in this case, we just had a 66% monster. This is 61. So tame, so tame.
I know, and I was like, wow, 16 years old, 61%.
Oh yeah, you're right, but twice the age. So it's usually ABV will go down over time.
Right. I was like intrigued by that.
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. Okay. Okay. This is getting difficult. To fill you guys in, we announced earlier that later this month, at the end of the month, we're going to be doing a virtual dram stream where one of these bottles will be selected as the bottle that we'll be tasting. We'll do more of an in-depth, real full-on
deep dive.
And so Jen and I are trying to pick that one out tonight. Which of these 6 is going to be in the deep dive? We should just call it that. The deep dive. We might change that name. Okay.
This is like I'm getting like freshly, I don't know, it's like waxed wood.
It's definitely got like this tropical fruit thing going on. It's a bit exotic. Some unique, like unfamiliar spices, unfamiliar to my to me. I mean, it's familiar is all relative, but for me, and yeah, for which is I think is common for single grains. I tend to get more of a tropical characteristic from a lot of them.
And I always get a rum note, like a rum cake note on my grains.
There you go.
It's had a little bit of that, like a hot piece of rum cake on a freshly polished mahogany table.
There are similarities between the last whiskey we tasted, Jenna, and I think same flavor profile. And so I was gonna say, if you like one, I'm just nosing this one. I haven't tasted it yet, but if you like one, you like the other, and I think that is true.
Only 126 bottles of this.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I was like,
cask. From a barrel, probably. Yeah, from a barrel.
But still 61%.
Oh, I'm seeing this now, and I apologize because it's going across the screen. So this has also been double matured in a bourbon barrel to then all second fill, a heavily toasted medium charred hogshead. So similar to the last one, both of them have been. Yeah. The first one in the hogshead.
I taste this. Tally ho.
Oh, definitely grain forward.
Holy cow!
Yeah. Oh, but it's beautiful though.
Oh,
it's like a very It's like it brings back memories of drinking whiskeys, grain whiskeys that are much more potent and in your face, and it's got some of those, but it's like the delivery is very lush, super creamy.
I was not expecting that.
What do you think? What's your first impression?
I mean, it tastes very like fancy. It's like a very elegant, just like, I mean, it rolls across your palate like silk, just across your palate. I think I was expecting, I don't know, for it to be a little bit sweeter, because I do find grain whiskeys to sometimes be, like I said, I get that rum cake note on it, so I was trying it to be a little bit sweeter, but I don't get that on this. This is like I don't know, like a not so sweet, fruity kind of body to it, like dragon fruit and maybe a little papaya, like that kind of profile.
Yeah.
Wow, it's fantastic.
I like that a lot, and I like that. Again, this is what we taste is kind of from our experience. It's grain forward. It almost reminded me like of a lot of Irish whiskeys. Like, I'm just generalizing here, but I like that it has this sort of tropical, exotic backbone to. Well, maybe that's in the backbone. That's like the makeup on top of it. Totally unique tasting experience. Then there were some questions. There was some comments I was just checking here earlier about the mash bill or what it is. No, we do not know the mash bill, unfortunately, of this one. Oftentimes, single grains can be barley, like single malt made from 100% barley, but also wheat, maybe some rye, some unmalted barley sometimes. Although I mean that's where I'm getting this. Thinking of Irish whiskey, I'm thinking of single pot stills, which are made from malted and unmalted barley. But you definitely get this slew of cereal grains,
big time,
right? And it doesn't taste like any one. So it's definitely I think a relatively complex mash bill. I mean, I could be wrong, but there are two casks, you know, and then maybe there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, I do like that you get that kind. There's like a rawness to it, like a raw grain cereal kind of note to it, which I don't usually get that on a lot of grain whiskeys. And I do like that you get that in this. This one's very different than any of the ones I've had in the past. So JT's asking, does it resemble the name Inception? Will it be in your dreams?
I don't know. Depends if we're in the dream right now.
Sometimes it feels like it.
Rewatch. I'm just thinking back a lot of single grains we've had. A lot of them have been like, 20 plus years, 25, 30 years in age. We've seen some younger ones, malts from Calm Still. Total unique one, this one, I think. We've seen some finishing rum too, haven't we? Or no, am I making that up?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's been a while.
I feel like we kind of tend to have a lot of fun with these grains. Like, I feel like the expectations are just non-existent, and it's just kind of like do whatever you want. Maybe that's our approach to all whiskeys, and I'm just nitpicking. But anyway, we'll move on. But final thoughts? What do you think of final thoughts? I mean, who?
I think it's really different than again a lot of the grains that we've had. There is a really beautiful elegance to this whiskey, and it is like a soft, like not overly sweet tropical fruit, and like really nice whisper of like just like wood on it. I mean, it's like in the most simple terms. That's what I get from it.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So at that point, we are halfway through. It's a quarter to 9 Eastern time. We got 3 whiskeys. We decided to do 6 tonight. We usually do 5, and we were just feeling so generous. So generous that we've decided to drink 1 more whiskey tonight than we normally do, and we're doing 6. So if you're just tuning in, this is of course the February Outturn preview tasting. Tomorrow, all these whiskeys are dropping online. Check the link below. It should be down there below somewhere. Obviously, the whiskeys are all for members exclusively, but if you're not a member, you can still sign up because these are coming out at 1 o'clock tomorrow. So if any of these sound good, there's time. And yeah, so where are we going from here? Yeah.
Oh, just to a place I love. To a distillery that I love.
Oh.
So we are going.
I know I'm like so uncomfortable right now.
We are going to the Highlands to Distillery 135. So this is cask 135.43. It's called Whiskey Daydreams. I mean, I'm sold already. This is a 21-year Highland in a force-filled ex-bourbon barrel at 54.1%. Yeah, and our spicy and sweet flavor. Whiskey Daydreams. Are you kidding me? And it's like this, very excited.
I have a confession. I opened the box with all these whiskeys. This is going to be Bill watching this. I feel like I should not say this in public or whatever. I was so excited. I was like, okay, it was like a middle of the day. I opened the bottle, as you can see, and I just like sipped a little bit out of the bottle because I was just like, I just have to get something on my lips. I didn't have to taste something. So I have tasted this one. I know I said all these others I haven't tasted. This one I have tasted. But in all fairness, it was just a sip from the bottle. Oh, so savage. Just kidding. I taste whiskeys like that all the time. Do you ever do that, by the way? I mean, seriously. I mean, like you turn around the shelf, you're like, what do I want to try? Let me just refresh my memory.
Honestly, I do it sometimes when I talk to members on the phone and they're like,
Oh,
hey, do you remember this whiskey? And I was like, I think I have it on my shelf and I'll dig through it. And
I
they're
do
like,
that
what do you
too.
think of it? And I'm like, well, let me taste it real quick and I'll let you know. So
Yeah.
sometimes they do those like quick little mini tastings on the fly.
I do. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't know that we have to like keep up some appearance that we like only drink out of these fancy crystal glasses. Like honestly, I go back. Yeah.
If Lady K is in the chat tonight, I talked to her a couple days ago and did that. So, all right, ready to get
Whiskey
into this?
Daydreams, the whiskey chosen by Jenna, named by Jenna.
I'm in
Colored as your hair even is. Look at this bottle and look at your head. Look at this. This is an out of body experience.
Oh my god, this looks so
That's
much.
a new thumbnail right there. This is pretty funny, actually. There's a sign. Basically, what you're saying is there's this. All right. Considerable drop in ABV, 54.1%. I just want to call that out. We've had some extreme strengths tonight, which has been fantastic. And this is easily 58.
So there was a question on how many bottles. I got to taste this. Let's see. I can get my camera to focus. There were 112 bottles out of this cask, so not a lot. And I'll take a look and see how many we have. And so for this one, it looks like we're going to have about 55 of them. So not a lot.
You know what's funny about this whiskey here? It's almost like a summary of the 3 whiskeys we've had before. Okay, I mean, I haven't even tasted it. I've only nosing this. It's got a lot going on. It's richer. It's rich. It's deep. There's a little bit of waxiness just on the nose right away. It's got some of those like wood oils, or you mentioned.
Yep.
What did you say earlier? You said you had an oil. You mentioned that.
Waxed wood.
Yeah. Oh, so you said sandalwood.
Sandalwood.
Sandalwood. I was thinking of. Yeah. There's a little bit of that going on. It's a little bit of sort of these exotic spices, but it's very, very familiar at the same time and classic. And I just feel like that's kind of the summary of the first 3 we had. Just if that's random.
I mean, this is like lush on the nose. It is rich. It is lush. It is like, I don't even know how to. Okay, actually, I do know how to describe the nose on this. If you've ever been to the Glenfiddich distillery and used the bathroom, they have soap in there. That is like one of my favorite smells. Actually,
the whiskey soap.
Yes, that is what this is reminding me of. And it's funny, I have a car air freshener that I found that is really close to that.
Black Ice?
No, it's called Whiskey and Oak.
Oh.
And it's so funny. People will open my car and they're like, why does your car smell like whiskey? I was like, well, not because there's whiskey in it, but really good. And that's what this reminds me of. Holy cow. Okay, I'm going to taste it.
I have some of those whiskey soaps. You sell those everywhere in Scotland, but yeah. But does anybody know? Everybody in the chat, help me out here. Does anybody know the Black Ice air fresheners? Like the trees, the black trees that are hanging up in the rearview mirror of your friendly local Uber driver. Like, I love those things.
This is delicious.
Yes, it's real good. It's really, it's very decadent. Well, you I want to hear your thoughts. Sorry, I don't want to hear myself.
So I think nose and palate match really beautifully on this. I think it's a very smooth transition to the palate. I mean, the texture on this, it is like waxy and viscous, and I mean, it just like sticks. It's like all here. I'm getting a lot of that. Yeah, like that sandalwood, that just, I don't know. I feel like I'm like in a forest somewhere, and I don't know. This is like ethereal and like, I don't know. There's so much happening. This, like, it is, the name on this is spot on. My mind's just all over the place with this whiskey, trying to place it. But I'm getting a lot of those notes that I got on the nose on the palate for sure. Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'm going to share a comment that's either going to be appreciated or it's going to come off as really bougie and therefore like just a waste of time. It's like think of like when you think of like the term luxury whiskey, you know, people use that word to describe something that's like, you know, sitting your cracks of their armchair or whatever by the fire. Like you think of some of those whiskeys that are like that are just everything's so pleasant and you know, it's just like class like listening to classical music. This is like 80% of that, but
Yeah.
there's the 20% of it. The remaining 20% is like this total rustic, woodsy experience that deprives anybody hoping to it deprives everybody from this leather armchair that we so commonly refer to when enjoying these whiskeys, and puts you right on the like the forest floor. It's very bold and intense. Like I don't know, like I don't know. I just you know, like personally, like as a man, I feel like wow, I can like really connect to this for whatever reason. It just reminds me of my dad or somehow or something. Like you know, it's like very assertive.
Yeah.
I don't know, like it, which I love because it started off like oh, on the nose, I was like oh, it's like very pleasant and rich. Ooh, and then I tasted it, I was like oh wow, this is like got some real presence here. You
It
know?
is. Yeah, I agree with you. It's like, I don't know, it's like being in a castle or something,
Ooh,
like or a big chateau in the forest.
yeah,
It's like a little damp and the colors are very rich and like deep.
yes,
And there are like fresh, like not even fresh, like overripe almost peaches like
yes,
sitting on your old table. There's like a peach note in this that I'm getting. And like I don't know, it's very like you go and you bite the peach and it's just like,
yes.
crazy because it's so overly ripe. And I don't know, there's just big leather furniture everywhere and dogs and I don't know. This is like painting a picture for me.
Yes, and there's no electricity and
Yes.
no iPhones or you know, so it's like
Yes, the
yes, yes,
gramophone is, like, cranking out, like, I don't know, Eric's
yes,
tea, and
yes,
you're just in it. Oh my god, so
yes.
good!
So it's a luxury whiskey of like 400 years ago in that era where you know basically everybody is like you know dying of plague and stuff, but there's still this whiskey to enjoy with your dogs in your castle.
I have to have my dogs.
I don't know what place we've just described, but like I want to live there. Like you know,
It's
I
fantastic.
spend 10 minutes on the internet these days. I'm like, oh, that's where I want to live. Actually, that place, and so
Yeah,
this whiskey takes me there. Well
yeah,
done, well
yeah.
done.
All right, wow. Yes, okay, JT, 135.42, Fun in the Sun. Yes, okay. I just talked about that whiskey yesterday, because that one, a little similar. That one was more, I found that one to be a little more tropical, and a little bit brighter. This is like a deeper, richer, like, I don't know, just like a more decadent version, more on like the warm, woody
Oh,
side, whereas Fun in the Sun is like on that bright tropical side. I hope that helped. Yes.
it's definitely woody on the palate. It's not like I would for me you know, everybody has different interests of like the woody characteristic in their whiskey. For me, it's pushing the line of like where too woody can like it's not too woody, but it's pushing the envelope as for regards to like how much wood you can put in a whiskey. You know what I mean? Like it's enough where it's like, oh, there it is, it's there. Any more, I might be like, ooh, maybe that's too woody, but it's not there. It's like just the right amount.
Yeah,
Um,
I
I
agree.
think this is sensational. Like this is yeah. It's like there's no tricks up of its sleeve, you know. Not that the others. It's just like it's kind of a straight shooter, like on paper, you know. It's just 21 years in a cask. What is this?
Yeah,
First,
and
oh, a first fill bourbon barrel. I didn't even look at the cask. It's scrolling. Oh, interesting. So it is a smaller barrel, fresher first fill bourbon. So soaked up a lot of that influence. Wow.
there's a lot going on in this whiskey. I don't know. It's like sometimes you read these things on paper too, and you're like, yeah, it could. You don't really know what direction it's going to go in, right?
Yeah.
It could go like this one did in that like warm, woodsy, like deep, rich kind of profile, or you can have whiskeys of that age, and I don't know, they lean more toward like the fruity, like brighter side, and this one didn't. So you really don't know what you're going to get until you taste it.
Yeah.
But this one's fantastic.
This is sensational. I mean, obviously, for everybody watching, if you're thinking of, man, I want to kind of, well, I was gonna say splurge on something, but you know, it's not an inexpensive whiskey, $230. But when you think of like, look at the whole selection on the shop, I happen to think this is probably one of the better value buys out there for what I'm tasting right now. the experience compared to some of the other whiskeys on my shelf, not just from Society whiskeys, but like of all the whiskeys. Yeah, okay. I'm pulling this one out for special occasions.
I just set it aside because I'm gonna revisit that later.
Yeah. I also see it on the side with the other whiskeys, by the way. So
my glass.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It looks in focus. It looks like everyone's set aside. So.
Oh well, those I'll put on the shelf, but this one's gonna go to the living room.
Mikhail says Jenna is having whiskey daydreams. That is spot on. She is. Really, really, really stunning whiskey.
Yeah.
And I'll stop saying that. I'm gonna beat a dead horse. We got 2 more tonight.
2 more.
I could very easily end there and be satisfied. No, see, I mean seriously, I could be like, wow. I could just leave that on my palate until I brush my teeth tonight, or maybe not.
Don't.
Maybe in the morning. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's all right. I feel like we need to do a stand up and do a stretch.
Yeah, Trevor says, I wonder what the deep dive whiskey will be. Maybe we should just call it deep dive instead of virtual drams. Didn't want to turn people off with the deep dive, but maybe we'll think about it. Yeah, we're going to choose one of these 6 to revisit.
All right, shall we dabble in some sherry?
Oh yeah. We got one here.
You are the sherry man, after all.
I don't know that that's the case.
You were the one who steered me in that direction of sherry, and now I love it. So.
That's funny you say that. I feel like I've been steering everybody away for the last several years.
No,
I remember I was that guy at one point.
Yeah, when I was first getting into it, when I was like trying to make that connection of different styles.
Oh, right.
And you like made this recommendation for me, and I went and I bought it. And I was like, "This is like the best thing ever."
What was it that you bought? What was it? This has got to be
black bottle, like a white block, like lettering on the bottle. Black? Pretty sure it was an Oloroso.
Oh, you're talking about not a whiskey, of sherry.
No, sherry. Yeah.
You bought that the loose stout East India Solera, yes. Which I was just like, it's like, yeah, if you okay. It
was delicious.
Let me clarify. I love sherry. I love drinking sherry. I think I've been steering people away from sherry cask mature whiskeys, just because I feel that it's like there's so much more beyond that, Yeah. But no, I won't steer anyone away from drinking sherry too.
Yeah, sherry's fantastic.
Okay. Anyway, but my comment, I feel like I'm dogging sherry cask mature whiskey. No. I really like it. I thought I was confused when Jen and I, when we first met many years ago. I was really, really into the sherry cask whiskeys. Like that was my thing. I was living in Chicago. It was freaking freezing up there. And so I was just, that was in my glass, outside in the snow. Don't live there anymore. But also more so, I have just fallen in love with like other styles too. So, okay, you keep putting that thing up there. I keep putting that thing down.
When I was putting the banners up.
Leave it up. Hey guys, this is our name. These are our names. That's our Instagram accounts. If you want to follow us, it's our personal accounts. Nothing to do with any of this, but yeah. So anyway, that's who we are.
All right. So, I thought it was because every time I put
I thought it kept going up automatically, and you thought it was going down. So stupid. 4 whiskeys in. Here we go. Let's go. All right.
You ready?
All
right. So up next is Cask 68.76. Pleasantly pleasing, simply sublime. This is a 15-year Highland in a first fill ex-bourbon hogshead, and then it went into a first fill ex-Oloroso hogshead. 52.8% in a deep, rich, and dried fruits flavor profile.
Wow, it's like, you tell me what you think first. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Just quick fire. First impression.
Sherry, like up front, like it is there. Like if I were to pour a glass of Oloroso sherry and close my eyes and have this whiskey next to it and pick it up, I could confuse it because it is like straight, just punch of Oloroso right to my nose.
Let's just do quick fire for this whole whiskey.
Okay.
Everything.
Okay.
Let's try it. Let's try to not think. Let's just act or just react.
Okay.
Okay.
You go next.
Cherry meats. Salami. Prosciutto. No. Like
I say
Jamon iberico. No, I'm just there's like some sort of it's very meaty, very very meaty,
very meaty.
more so than fruity, right?
Yes,
No?
I agree.
Yeah. Usually with sherry cask, you get a lot of the dark fruits and all of the things and all the delicate things. This is like very savory.
Yeah, it's savory. I almost get a little like a salty.
Ooh,
There's like
yeah.
a salty note
Yeah.
on this.
Salted
That
pork.
makes me want some olives.
Salted pork shipped over in the wooden ships to the castle with the dogs and the no iPhones, like that whole thing. Like, yes.
Overripe
Yes.
peach. Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, it's like big Oloroso. Like there's some prunes
You
in
think
there.
so?
Yes, like that's like the first
How many
thing.
years in the okay? So it's 2 casks, so 15 years old. First in an ex bourbon hogshead.
13 and 2.
13 and 2. Okay.
Or 12 and 3. I'll double check it.
Okay, but a couple years, more than one.
Yeah, more than
we're seeing a lot for our double mature whiskeys. We're seeing a lot more than we're letting them go. Just like Elsa. Does anyone know that reference?
Yes, it was 12 and 3. So 12 years in bourbon, 3 years in Oloroso.
I wasn't knocking your observation, Jenna, about, I mean, it's obviously yours about like it is sherry, but for me, maybe it's because the dark fruits, like, and all the classical Oloroso notes weren't sticking out as much. Like there's something unique going on. My mind didn't go to sherry right away. But then, of course, I knew it was sherry. And I mean, so.
And you're like, oh, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Salty, meaty, olives. Kind of makes me want a vermouth.
Ooh, yeah.
All right. Well, let's taste it. Cheers.
Mm. Mm. Oh man, this just got really difficult. Oh wait, quick fire. What are your thoughts? Don't think.
I like it. There's so much happening. It's so hard.
Still savory pork, salty. Yes, I mean more savory.
More savory. Definitely way more salty.
Herbaceous, right?
There is an herbaceousness. I'm trying to figure out what it is. I don't know if it's like sage or thyme.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You cook with it. Guys, we're trying to do a quick reaction. Yeah.
There's like a little tomato saucy kind of note happening.
Okay, I gotta go back and taste that again. 2 sips, everyone knows the rules. Okay, this is fucking amazing. Like, this is really good. This is really good.
I mean, this is medieval. There's like a medieval thing going on.
The mouth feels, it's like, sorry, I'm actually looking at the tasting notes too. It's funny. What is chicken affrittata? I don't know. I don't know, but anyway, that's distracting. Totally different than the sherry cask matured whiskeys that I think we know, because it's sherry, but it's probably the most savory.
It's very savory.
I've had as far as I can remember.
This is definitely not like, I'm not getting a lot of sweetness on this at all.
Yeah.
Like maybe if anything, it's like if you're a piece of like, I don't know, like prosciutto or come on, like kind of got like the corner and like some kind of jam on your board and you ate it. Like it's very subtle sweetness. Oh, this would
be a great holiday season whiskey. Like it does remind me a little bit of Christmas. I mean, that's cliche because sherry cask mature whiskeys tend to do that.
This makes me want to get on a plane and take my tush to Barcelona and eat and drink my way through it.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Man, Whiskey Franco says, this is a hell of an outturn. I have to say,
it's kind of.
I mean, I don't know what's going on. This is just February. This is even one of the big months. The big months are like, October, November, December. That's where it just goes to show, man, you can't really, we just pick these on paper. And I don't know. I can't remember which ones were tasted in person. Was this one poured?
Yep. This was poured. Yep. So I actually had a member at the tasting yesterday, Lyman, if you're watching. He mixed a little bit of this with the 105, and it was Sublime. We all did it and tasted it, and it was fantastic. And yeah, this was definitely one of those ones that was up there, and savory, same kind of notes that we're getting. But I feel like this is like I'm getting a very different experience having it here at home. I think it's because I can actually sit and like really think about it and talk about it, and I don't have to like necessarily be on, so to speak. And it is fantastic. That is a fantastic whiskey. Really, really good.
Yeah.
I don't even want to add water to it, to be honest.
Josh Taylor says, you had me a prosciutto. Hey, everyone joining super late. Just got home from work. Welcome, Josh. And yeah, the prosciutto is there. And some sort of cured ham. Whatever. Big Dog says it's the Boar's Head Festival. Really, really is. And I really like that. Okay. Well, it's funny. I was just going to say, it would be a great like tasting. This and the one we just had before this, the Whiskey Daydreams, a 21-year-old that we said was a bit more luxurious, but also very woodsy. Like, these two, this is like an ultimate camping collection. I would say that's what this is for me. Okay, well, and we're trying to pick one of these 6.
I know it's hard. I think I came into it like, oh yeah, I know which one I want to pick, but now I'm like, I don't know.
I'm gonna be honest, Jen. We had some ideas going into this. We had a couple like on our mind before tasting these, and
they're all thrown out the window now.
Okay, one more. We got one more to roll through. I'm gonna finish this. Sorry, you can go on. I'm not gonna.
No, take your time. I don't want to rush you. Should I read the tasting notes? Okay. So this is thin slices of Iberico jamon served with a rich sauce followed by game terrine, lamb tagine, chicken affrittata, and to finish gulab jamun. I don't know what that is.
Gulab jamon.
What is that?
It's something you find in the castle.
Oh, all right.
I mean, the point is, it's okay not to know everything in whiskey's tasting notes, because therefore there's something new to discover.
That's what I love about these, that it's like you have to Google some things. Okay, so it's a sweet confectionery or dessert originating in the Indian subcontinent in a type of it's like a pastry. It looks like some type of like berry-sized ball pastry made with milk, solids, and flour, and then it's soaked in a rose-flavored sugar syrup. Taste that.
Yeah, well, I would just taste in liquid form. Look at this comment, Matthew J. Ryan from the live tasting the virtual. Matthew, I'm assuming you were
in New York.
New York at the live tasting. Yes, welcome. Hope you've just continuing the love. Matt, I'll be at the event in New York next month if you're going to be around too. If anybody's going to be at the event in New York, I'll be there. Let's do it. So one more to go, just in time for Matthew J. Ryan. Because we've had no peated whiskeys. We've done 5 whiskeys. Everyone's been unpeated. Sometimes we have a few peated whiskeys in the lineup. We've had none so far. And are you ready to roll? I mean,
yeah.
I thought I was holding you up. Okay.
Nope. Yeah. This has been quite an adventure on a Monday evening. All right. Well, Matthew J. Ryan came in just in time for this last whiskey. It is, of course, our peated whiskey. And it is Cask 53.401 Islay Karate. And this is a 10-year Islay and a refill ex-bourbon hogshead at 57.4% ABV. And I'm not going to read the tasting notes. I'm going to turn it away. And we haven't even opened yours.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. What did we say? ASMR? AMS?
Oh, ASMR. AS.
I'm going to do this fancy glass too.
What does that even mean? Hold on, I gotta plug in my computer because I forgot to do that. I forgot to die.
Well, everyone, while that's going down, I'm going to open this bottle here.
Open that bottle.
Cask 53.401 Islay Karate. Yeah, fantastic name. I've pulled out this our official SMWS spirits glass, which you can't get in the US. I got this in Scotland. If you go to the venues, that you can buy these, but they serve our single cask spirits like the rums and Armagnacs, technically in this class. But I gotta tell you, I think I like it because I got big hands and it's got a big stem, easier for me to hold. So. Okay, this is like.
I'm in it. I'm sorry.
So first impression, classical Islay.
Like to textbook.
A textbook. This is textbook. And there are pros and cons to that, right? Because there are pros if you like have a few of them in your collection, you're like, oh, it's just a classic Islay. But no, that's a con. If you already have those, like that's a con. But there's a pro in that, like there is a profile that you just can't get. For some people, can't get enough of it. And there's nothing right on the first impression of the nose. We're doing quick fire, like nothing wrong on the nose. This is just classic textbook Islay.
And it's like
perfectly medicinal, vanilla like icing, on top of like this very like heavy sort of iodine laden peat, explosion.
I'm getting like vanilla buttercream. There's like buttery, but medicinal, a little salty. And this is textbook. I mean, this should be the example.
I know. I know. What's going on right now? Yeah. This is, I'm struggling for things to say other than like
it's really refreshing. Like for me, like you said, like we're spoiled. We get to nose and taste a lot of whiskeys. But this is almost refreshing. Like it's like grounding in a way that I feels like it just kind of brings you back. It's just this beautiful classic.
I've been looking for this because I feel like I've been pouring like Islay whiskeys for people when they come over. I'm like, oh, try this, and then I'll taste. I'm like, okay, actually, not that one. That's not like a good representation. Let me give you this one. Try this one instead. This is like a textbook for sure.
Yeah.
Cask 53.401, 401st cask from Distillery 53. I think that's the most we've ever released from any one distillery. Is it?
I think so.
I mean, it's got to be. I think I looked this up a year ago at the time. This one.
I don't think we have anything like after 400, like at all. I'm just looking behind me, and maybe Distillery 4 is in the 3s.
I mean, it's just this one. Oh.
But yeah, let's get it. Okay, I gotta taste it. You tasted it?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh God! All right, we're going in.
JC says it's a people pleaser. It very much, it tastes like I've gone home a little bit. I mean home in the sense that it's like so, like we just did this wild ride, these 5 whiskeys, and like some of them were like really wild and out there, and like kind of like had to tackle them. And now this is, honest for us, I would say, easier to dissect this one because it is familiar. But let's not like fool ourselves here. This style of whiskey is one of the most complex for anybody who's new to it. Particularly to tame this sort of islet, like, you know what I mean? Like we've tamed the beast. Oh, change the battery pack, it says. I mean, and with that, I'm just gonna go. No, I'll change my battery pack. Jenna, you take it from here.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Oh my gosh, she's literally leaving me. All right, I'm going to dig into this a little bit more. Again, going back, this is like classic textbook. And actually, Matthew J. Ryan, if you are still in the chat, I would love to know what you think because you are the king of peat. And so I would love to know what you thought of this particular whiskey. But I don't know. I think there's something really beautiful about a classic style of whiskey. And I think this is like I said to Ben, I think this is a great example of that. And for, people who do nose and taste through a lot of different whiskeys, this is kind of like that, like seeing like your first love in like the first time in 20 years or something. Like, I don't know. There's just this like thing that kind of grounds you and, like you said, brings you back. And I think this is definitely one of those kind of whiskeys. So
we've had some whiskeys of like extreme strengths earlier, and 66%, 66.2, and like now I feel like our palates are totally exposed, you know. So this 57.2, I'm like, oh, I wouldn't add water to this one, because reality, after this many whiskeys, this is number 6, palate's kind of shot, but it's really enjoyable at this strength. After all that, you know.
I think it's great. And I asked Matthew J. Ryan what he kind of thought about it too, because I was just curious. And he said it was buttery. And he also says, I hate to say textbook 53, but that's a good thing. And I agree. Like it's a classic. And it's, you know, classics are classics for a reason, I guess.
Yes. Okay, so I would say, yeah, if you're in the market for like classical Islay representation, this is it.
This is it.
I'm just trying to think, like there's so much. Anyway, okay, so Jenna, any other closing remarks on the whiskey? We've done 6. We have a job to do now. We have to.
No, there's like a lot to unpack here, just because everyone was so unique and different. And I feel like we kind of went, this was like a roller coaster ride of a tasting. I mean, I have some that I think that stood out the most, and some stood out for different reasons, but you have to pick one.
Yeah. Okay. So just what we're doing, just for anybody who's just tuning in, or if you've been with us from the beginning, just a reminder. So actually in the caption of this video below, you'll see we have a link to virtual drams that we're hosting on February 28th. We are going to take one of these whiskeys and we're going to take a really deep dive. We'll do a live stream, and that would give any members who are interested in ordering a bottle a chance to get theirs, take delivery of it. You can open and enjoy it by yourself before, or you can just wait to the live stream and enjoy it with us. We haven't done this before. Actually, have we? I don't think we've ever really done anything like this. I mean, maybe something in the years past, but we'll be doing this every month now. So every month we'll go through the Outturn, we'll pick one of the whiskeys, and then we'll go into really revisit. And I have a feeling, Jenna, like a lot of these whiskeys, if not all of them, there's a lot to talk about. So it'll be really, really good. And I think this whole selection was really kind of just, I don't know, threw me for a loop. And here, interesting comment. The Whiskey Franco says, honestly, maybe the most varied, interesting Outturn in recent memory. So glad I came to this thinking, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm not going to buy anything. I know the feeling. So I think I know which one I would really like to invite everybody to dive into with us.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because you did share your opinion in the beginning. Has your opinion changed?
No.
Okay. Because I am in complete agreement. Because I'm in complete agreement with you. I was going to say, but what were you thinking?
I mean, revisiting this 53, I don't know, there's just something like so homey about it. There is something so, even though it's just like, again, like classic textbook Islay, there is something so beautiful about that.
Yeah.
And I think if you can like really tap into the appreciation of that, it really allows you to expand out and find appreciation in, I don't know, a lot of other styles of whiskey or cask types or things like that. I think that's just like, I don't want to say like a baseline. But I mean, I think that is the example.
Yeah.
And I don't know. There's something really special about that.
Yeah. So, okay. Interesting. Okay. How about this? Let's okay, I'll share my thoughts too, but I think we should ultimately, let's leave this up to everybody watching right now.
Yeah.
Everybody in chat, we'll nail down in 2. So again, we got to pick one. We pick one, and then, you know, if anybody orders a bottle, you know, obviously all these are releasing tomorrow. Get them in time for February 28th. I think it's described below in the caption here. But you know, I'm going through this, and I want to be mindful, of course, of how many bottles there are of each one, the price, of course. the 135.43, the Whiskey Daydreams, 21-year-old. I'm like, you know what? I was thinking I can go spend 3 hours talking about this.
Yeah,
I would strongly recommend this whiskey with total confidence. But I'm also thinking, you know, it's $230, which is considerably more than others on the table. And I wouldn't want to just like put up a huge price threshold, because I mean, like, for that price, you can also get 2 other bottles. And I totally respect, and I've been in that position, and I probably often still am. I would pick between, I'd say two different bottles. So where I'm leaning is actually this one, which you picked, 105.40.
Yeah.
The Sweet Kiss of Complexity, 8-year-old, double matured, ex-fill bourbon hogshead to second fill, heavily toasted medium charred hogshead, 66.2% ABV. I think we talked to her. First of all, I'm just saying this based on the liquid. Like, I was going to say, oh, it's this, and this, and strong. It just, like, I don't know. I thought there was like the most bang for any buck, and it wasn't even like a value thing. It was an experience. I was like, this is high quality experience that's offered, and it's actually pretty reasonable. Like, I really like, I like value. So
I'm with you, and I think there's a lot to unpack there.
I can talk about, I want to just like, it's not about talking about this. I can pour this one for myself in a room and not get bored for a long time. You know, like,
Right.
And so I'm kind of leading there.
I would be happy with that decision.
How about this? We'll leave it up to chats. Two options. And again, I think it's about, for everybody watching, which bottle would you most like to order based on our descriptions? We have the, like, as Jenna said, the 53.401 Islay Karate, classic Islay expression. And we can talk a lot about Islay for sure. And then the 105.40, the Sweet Kiss of Complexity, this wild card 8-year-old, that's 66%, but yet so like dangerously approachable. Before we started this stream, I was saying, let's do the Islay. And Jenna was saying, you should try this 105, this other one. And now that I've tasted all of them, I'm like, let's do the 105, and Jenna's saying the Islay. So I would say for the first 10 responses, we'll take out of 10. Which one would
I see a lot of 105s right now.
Okay. So hold on. How about this? Starting now, either respond in the chat, either 105, which is the 105.40, or 53, which is the 53.401, the peated Islay. 105 or 53. We'll count up the votes. And by the way, you better go order this bottle tomorrow when it comes out. Don't like just drop these numbers and just like and partake. Obviously, we're doing this. We're trying to think new ways to get y'all. I live in Tennessee now, so I could say that, to get y'all, to get everybody to just, I don't know, kind of taste along with us as opposed to just listening to us talk. So that's where we're kind of coming. I'm seeing some 53s, a lot of 105s.
A couple 53s, but overwhelmingly, I think it's 105.
Well, okay, I'm giving this more time. I see more 105s. Now, worthy of consideration. Okay, let's do full consumer reports here. 105.40. This is the stats that we're considering. $110 a bottle. Okay, which, you know, is not inexpensive, but for society bottles, that's like on the lower end, which I like.
53s coming in.
And then 53.401. Islay 135. So $25 difference, basically shipping costs. You know, to say buy yourself a glass or something. Whiskey Franco says, my girlfriend just yelled at Ben from another room, don't encourage him. I actually think the Whiskey Franco, you should get the 53 and your girlfriend should get the 105. I think that is that's just how I would respond to that. So T Roy says, have you selected a dram for February 28th yet? Anything we should purchase now for that date? T Roy, that's exactly good. That's a great question. That's exactly what we're settling in the chat right now. We're torn between two. We're leaving it up to the people to decide. And the question is, how many bottles of this 105 are there in the US? We should probably figure that out too.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that. And I'll also drop the full list of everything that's going
I
to
have
be
it here.
out.
It says 78 minus the 2 that we have here, so 76 of those, and the 53 is 114. There's more, but okay, I'm going to tally these up based on our descriptions, and we appreciate everybody trying to make a judgment call based on what we've said. All right, and starting from Andrew, 105, 105, 105. That's 3. Jimmy Jazz, 105. Matt Ryan says 53.
I'm shocked.
Shocked. Okay. 4 to 1, 5 to 1, 6 to 1, 7 to 1, 8 to 1. Okay. 9 to 1, 10 to 1, 11 to 1, 11 to 2, 12. Okay. I know I said the first. Okay. So basically the 105 is the winner.
The 105.
Okay.
And I do have before we show the full list of everything that's going to be coming out tomorrow, I do have a little surprise to share with everyone about the month of February. Because we get asked this question all the time.
What's that?
Should we drop it or should we wait?
I don't know what you're talking about.
So if you order 3 or more bottles, starting tomorrow through February, I believe it's 21st, you will get 2 Society whiskey glasses in your order.
Do you hear that, Whiskey Franco? Whiskey Franco's girlfriend. Did you hear that? Okay, so if you get 3 bottles, I didn't know that. I mean, we should have dropped this earlier. This makes the decision much easier. You get 2 glasses for free. Okay.
You do.
It's a good point, by the way. The 105 was poured at the tasting event, so there will be fewer of them to go around. Ooh. I mean, well, I think there'll be enough. Right? So.
Yeah, I think we'll be all right.
Okay. Anyway, so we'll do that on the 28th, and I'll update the YouTube vid for this 105.40, the Sweet Kiss of Complexity, our first of many virtual drams bottles selections. So we'll be diving through this, and I'm so excited because there's so much here to talk about, and I'm really excited to hear not just our opinions anymore, but everybody else in chat. So it'll be a lot of fun. Thank you for tuning in.
Wait, I gotta show the full list of what's coming out tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
Hold on one quick second, and then I promise we'll let you go. All right, let me just throw this up on the screen really quick. And we will. Give me one quick second. All right, full list. Of everything that coming out tomorrow.
Okay, I'm looking through Maverick.
Mm.
Wait, what is going on? Okay.
Ironed newspaper for breakfast.
What am I? Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, this is giving me a headache, and it could just be the 6 whiskeys, but I can't even. What? All right.
Well, that's the full list. Everything.
I like our pick. I like our pick.
I think we picked a great one. I think everyone watching picked a great one. So that is everything that will be dropping tomorrow at 1:00 Eastern time. So be logged into your accounts, or feel free to give us a call. Sometimes it takes a little bit to get through on the phones, just because they do ring quite a bit. But yeah, we'll be here to.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. If you're new to the channel, if you haven't subscribed, please give us a subscribe. We're trying to grow this channel and actually do a lot more content. That's sort of our plan of this year. But if you give this video a thumbs, what do? Thumbs up, smash that subscribe button. I think that's what they say. That's what they say. Please do those things. Help out the channel. We want to really grow the channel, and actually, we just want to do a lot more content for you. And so, it's a small team running the whole ship. We got to find a way to justify it. So your support would obviously be huge for us. So anyway, cheers. Have a great night. Thank you, Jenna.
Thank you.
Adios.
Bye.